You better shut this video off right now if you don't want to get promoted. That's right. After learning machine learning the easy way, you are going to become so popular at work that they will not have a choice but to promote you. And the best part is, machine learning is so much easier than you think. Welcome to the channel. I'm Mike, and if you're new here, I'm a senior finance leader, and over the last decade, I've worked in finance everywhere from brand new startups all the way to the Fortune 100. And over that time, I've continued to learn more and more about automation as, frankly, as my workload has increased. And what I continue to find about automation is that I'll put something off for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years in the case of Power Query, and when I finally sit down to learn it, it's so much easier than I ever thought it was. I honestly think people are just gatekeeping a lot of this technology because they want to seem impressive and they want to make sure that they've got job security. But today, I'm going to teach you machine learning in the easiest way possible, and you're going to come out knowing exactly how to apply it to your finance job. And the best part is, you won't need to do a single line of code. By the end of this video, you'll not only understand what machine learning is and how it can apply to finance, but you'll have practical tips and a walkthrough of how to use it and impress your team and your boss in the process. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Let's learn the easiest way to use machine learning in finance with no coding needed. First of all, if you're new to the technology, what is machine learning? I know I for a long time thought it was something really complex that I could never touch. But at the simplest form, machine learning is just teaching computers to learn patterns from data. Think about when you go into Netflix and you've been watching Netflix for a while, and then it starts recommending TV shows and movies that it thinks you really like, and it turns out you do really like it. Well, that's what happens. It's looking for people who watch similar titles to you and how they liked other titles. And then it's recommending those same titles because it's learned that people who watch similar titles to you will enjoy this other content. And at the most basic level, that's all machine learning is it's just that the computer is programmed to learn and get better and make better suggestions over time. This is a key part of artificial intelligence. When we talk about artificial intelligence, it's really two tools. Natural language processing, which allows the computer to understand normal human language, and then machine learning, which allows it to learn and get better and make better suggestions over time. An example of this in the finance space is think about a credit scoring model that improves with experience. As you continue feeding more and more data, as you see who does and doesn't default, it looks for signals and patterns among the better credit scores, and it will continue to refine its ability to give you better suggestions over time. But why should you care about machine learning? Well, it's starting to redefine the field, especially in areas like fraud detection, trading, and risk assessment. These manual workflows are outdated, and machine learning is absolutely critical to staying relevant. Because I'd say less than 1% of finance professionals understand this technology today, even the most basic machine learning knowledge gives you a competitive edge. Now, there's 3 types of machine learning we need to know. There's supervised learning, there's unsupervised learning, and there's reinforcement learning. Supervised learning I call the overachiever. This is where we predict outcomes with labeled data. You or someone else helps the computer understand what worked and what didn't. Now, in unsupervised data, I call this the detective. In this, you're finding insights in unlabeled data. You're giving it the data set and saying, what can you tell me without guiding it? So this is if you just give it customers and wanted to understand how customers will behave, if you give it raw forecast data and ask it to give you a forecast without telling it what the outcome was. And lastly, reinforcement learning, or the gamer. This is where machine learning plays and optimizes its strategy over time based on what's happening, along with something like trading bots. So it'll run its strategy and then it will test its strategy to see what the outcome was and how it could have improved. So those are the 3 key types of machine learning: supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. Have any questions so far? Go ahead and drop them in the comments and I'll be more than happy to answer. I respond to every single one. Well, how can we apply this technology today? Well, there's four really great areas where machine learning is being used. The first is fraud detection, where you spot unusual transaction patterns. This is probably where machine learning is the most developed because it's so easy for a computer. The computer can look across large data sets. It can quickly find outliers because a lot of this is mathematical, and it will beat humans every single time because it can evaluate the data so quickly and look for trends we may not spot. It's showing a lot of promise in stock predictions, using historical data to forecast trends and how they may play out, looking at how stocks are performing and what other stocks perform the same way. There's planning and forecasting. We're starting to see more and more uses here where driver-based models can improve with time. As you feed in additional drivers and additional information, your forecast gets better every time it runs, and it keeps refitting the forecast as it goes. And then there's algorithmic trading. This is automating smart trading strategies that can kind of balance risk across a portfolio. And we're starting to see a huge use of this in Wall Street investment banking and even in managing stock portfolios where there's robo-advisors that are replacing traditional human advisors. The most important thing to get started with machine learning is that you clean and prepare your data, because in machine learning, it's all about the data. And the golden rule of machine learning is that if you give the machine garbage, it will give you garbage back. You have to tackle missing data and outliers for accurate models before you ever feed it in. This can look like cleaning retail transaction data for fraud detection, right? You don't want to be feeding it a lot of no sales or incomplete transactions or partially completed transactions or transactions where just a line of data is missing. You want to give it clean data, some of which resulted in fraud, where it can better understand what's happening and apply it to transactions. You don't want to give it a bunch of garbage because it will decrease the ability of the model to fit to your need. There's four key algorithms that we use in finance. The first one is a regression model, which you probably learned in statistics. This is where you're going to predict numerical outcomes based on how related data is. This is something like credit risk, very good use, or planning and forecasting in a stable business. There's decision trees, also known as random forests. This is where you can handle complex data sets with ease. Clustering using k-means, and you can discover hidden patterns based on how the data behaves. And then there's neural networks, which is a lot more advanced than we'll be touching starting out, but this allows you to handle things like high frequency trading and a lot of other really advanced uses. But for the most part, we're going to be staying with the statistics approaches like regression models, decision trees, and clustering. There's several great tools out for no-code machine learning. Some of them are free, some of them have light use cases, some of them are enterprise plans and a little more expensive, but these are the tools you really want to focus on. There's Data Robot, there's Google AutoML, there's Obviously.AI, PyCaret, and Accio. These 5 softwares allow you to do machine learning without coding, and the machine is going to do a lot of the work for you. And that's really where we want to focus, because we don't need you spending your time learning Python, learning R, learning how to code when there's these great platforms for you. We want to get you up and running on the data. Enjoying this video so far? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single one of my videos. I post a new long form video every single Monday and new short form videos every single day of the week. So today what I'm going to walk you through is Obviously.AI. Now I like this because if you're working kind of on yourself on just a couple of small projects and you want to learn this tool, Obviously.AI has a great free plan. Let's go ahead and open up some data. Now what I've got here is a very simple data set. I have my forecasted and actual amounts by day for a small coffee shop. You'll see things, we've got marketing, coffee sales, food sales, ingredient cost, and so on. And I'm going to upload this and I'm going to use this to give a predictive model that's going to predict forward what the coffee shop's going to do. So let's go ahead and upload this. I'm going to do a regression model. Now, there's lots of great options in here. We can do CSV files, Dropbox, Google Sheets, Salesforce, BigQuery. You can go to really any database that you have, and you can pull in that data super easy. So many options. So let's go ahead. We're going to upload our CSV file. It's going to be our coffee shop financial model. It's the first row column names. Yes. All requirements met. Yes. We'll go ahead and upload that. All right, so we've got our file pulled in. The file is fit for prediction. That means it's following all of the requirements. It's recognized that we've got date, time. It's got text. It's got numbers in those. We'll go ahead and continue. All right, we're going to predict the actual amount. That's what we want to do the prediction on. The data level is by day. We have a great seasonality factor, and we're going to aggregate by summing. All right, and let's start predicting. So now it's going to go ahead, it's going to initialize the servers, it's going to build our machine learning model, and then it's going to give us the predictions. All of this, the coding is happening on the back end. You just get to enjoy the output. Want more insights on machine learning and other technology in finance? Go ahead and check out my newsletter, Finance Unfiltered. I send it out every single Thursday with tips just like you're learning in this video. I have a link down in the description, and I'd love you to join us. All right, and now our model is loading. And we can go ahead and launch our AI model to start making predictions. And here is our model. So now you can see that by month, it's giving us a 10-month forecast period. Let's actually pop it up to 12 so we can get a full year. We'll go ahead and predict that. And here is our prediction. So here is a forecast of how we think we'll perform January to December. You did all of that with no coding. It ran it itself, just purely based on the historical data. You can go ahead and you can come in and download all of this. And you can do this with anything you're working on in finance where there's data that will suggest what the future can be. How cool is that? Now, the way that I tend to use these is I don't use this and just take it and say, this is my forecast. I'll take this, I'll compare it to a driver-based model that I built bottoms up, and I'll understand where they're different. That will tell me what I might be missing. It also might tell me what this model is missing, and then I can add additional data points to help refine the model. But how cool is that? All of this is free, and you can use this forever on the free plan, as long as they offer the free plan. And you can just use this to learn and develop your machine learning skills. There's a lot of free data sets in here. There's also a lot of great data sets on Kaggle. That's where I got the coffee shop data set. Highly recommend it. You can set up a free account and get it. But just start spending some time with this and learning about how easy machine learning can be to use. If you take away one thing from this video, it's that machine learning is easy and you can put it into practice in your job today. And most importantly, the future belongs to people who embrace this technology. Just like Excel was brand new and scary 20 years ago, that's machine learning and artificial intelligence today. Would you rather be on the cutting edge, being a leader in your space on it, or would you rather be worried about it replacing you? With the tools you've learned in this video, you never have to worry about AI or machine learning replacing you because you understand how these technologies work, how you can leverage them to add value to your company, because that's what it's all about, is stopping the boring, repetitive work so you can have time to add value. That's all for today. I'll catch you in the next video. Until then, this is Mike signing off from F9 Finance. Cheers.